Hi, preschool. We are going to do another Bible story, and our Bible story today is the title is called Feeding 5,000. Have you guys ever been so excited for something that you forgot to do something that was really important? Maybe you got really busy playing your favorite game that you played right through mealtime. If your mother hadn't reminded you it was time to come to dinner or lunch, you would have not even thought about it. Now, I have a hard time thinking that might be true because I am at school with many of you for the afternoon and you do not forget about lunchtime. But maybe if it was something you were really, really, really enjoying, you might forget that it was even time to eat. Well, our story today, something like that kind of happens. It happened one day when many people were following Jesus as he left their town. They kept following Jesus until they were a long, long way from their homes. And Jesus, he came to a hillside, and there all the people that had gathered to listen to him were listening to him teach. All day long they listened, and they listened as he taught about God, he taught them about heaven, and he taught them about how they should be living. They liked to listen to Jesus and hear all the many things that he had to say. And do you know, this day they even forgot about eating their lunch. Late in the afternoon, they began to feel a rumbly tumbly in their belly. And they remembered they didn't even eat lunch, but they were hungry. Well, do you know, back in this time there were no stores to run to or cars to jump in and go to the grocery stores. They didn't have those things back then to get food like we do today. And here's a picture of Jesus sitting and talking, teaching the people. Well, Jesus, he knew that these people were hungry because he knows everything. And he knew they were too far away from their homes because they had followed him so far away to be listening to him teach. So he said to one of his disciples, he said, Philip, where should we get food for these people to eat? Philip said, it would take more money than we have to feed all of these people. Well, some of Jesus' disciples, they said, you should send the people home and have them go eat, and then they could come back. Jesus said to the disciples, oh, they are too far away from their homes, and they are hungry. You are going to give them something to eat. The disciples, they were confused, and they looked at each other and they said, Jesus, how can we do that? We don't have any food for these people. Well, Jesus asked them, how much bread is there? So he told them to go out into the crowd of people and find out if anybody had brought anything to eat with them. Well, one of Jesus' disciples named Andrew, he came back with a young boy and he said, we have found a little boy who brought his lunch with him. But his lunch is only 5 small pieces of bread and only 2 little fish. What good is this little bit of food for all these people? Look, Jesus, how many people there are. What good is that to us? Jesus asked the little boy for his lunch. And here's a picture of the little boy and Jesus. He asked the little boy for his lunch. And what do you think that the little boy thought when the disciples had told him that Jesus would like to have his lunch? Do you think that if it were you maybe would have said, I'm hungry. I want to eat my own lunch? I don't know. Sometimes I'm kind of selfish and I would probably think, I want to eat my lunch. I brought it for me. But you know what? This little boy, he decided that he would rather give his lunch to Jesus than to keep it for himself. He was happy to share his lunch with Jesus. God is pleased with us when we share with others the things that we have too. Sometimes it might be things we really like. I have a funny little story. My um, niece, Jocelyn, she is in college now, but when she was little, she had some Twix, little Twix candy bars, and she had them and was eating them, and she had one in each hand. And my sister, her name's Jennifer. I think some of you have met her, but we were kind of being aggravators. You probably don't ever aggravate your brothers and sisters, but we did at our house growing up. And we made a plan that we were going to um, eat her Twix bars, but we knew there was extra ones somewhere else, and she didn't know that. So my sister got around on one side and ate her one little candy bar, and it made her really sad. And then I got on the other side and ate her other little candy bar, and she began to cry. You see, she didn't want to share her, she was really excited about those. And a lot of times we don't like to share very well either. But the end of that story is not too sad because we knew there was more and we got the extra ones out and gave them to her to eat. We laugh about it now. But anyways, God is very pleased when we share what we have with other people, even if it's our very best. That makes it more special to share with others. Well, Jesus, he told his disciples to tell all those people to have a seat. Just told them to just sit down on the grass. And the people sat down on the grass and they waited. And Jesus looked up to heaven and he thanked God for the food. He prayed for the blessing on the food. And I hope that you guys, we do this every day in preschool. We do it for snack time, we do it for lunch. But I hope that you at your house take time to stop and thank God for the food that he has provided for you every time that you have a meal, because we want to be thankful. And without God, we wouldn't have the food that we have today, that we get to eat every day. So make sure that you take time to thank Jesus for your food every day. I love listening to you guys pray. Well, Jesus blessed the food, and then he took 5 little pieces, those 5 little pieces of bread and how many fish? That's right, 2 little fish. And he began to just broke them into pieces. And do you know, something really amazing happened. As he broke those pieces of bread into small pieces and the fish into other small pieces, he went to give them to his disciples to give to the people. And he began to break the fish. And this is the most amazing part of this story. Jesus kept breaking more and more and more. And the bread and the fish just continued to multiply. There was just more and more and more and more as Jesus broke. But all he started was 5 pieces of bread and 2 little fish. And remember, look at all the people that were there. Do you think that would have been even close to enough for all those people? It wasn't. But Jesus, he took what the little boy gave and he performed a miracle. Remember, a miracle is something only God can do. And he made the bread and the fish in that little boy's lunch that he gave to Jesus enough food for all of those people there. The bread and the fish, they never ran out until everybody got their bellies completely full. Do you know there wasn't a person left hungry at all that day? And here's even the coolest part about this story to me is when everybody had eaten all they wanted and their bellies were full, there was still leftovers. There was enough left. Jesus actually sent the disciples out into the crowd to gather up all the leftovers. And can you believe? Do you know how many baskets full of bread and fish were left over after all those people had eaten everything they wanted? Yep, if you guessed 12, you got it right. The Bible says 12 basketfuls left over after all those people had eaten. That only started with 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish. Jesus had performed a wonderful miracle, and we know that only God can perform miracles. But you know that day Jesus showed all of those people that he had the power to do what other people cannot. None of those disciples could have done that. No one there, no one on the earth today could do what Jesus had done that day. He performed a miracle. And aren't you glad that Jesus is God and that he can do wonderful miracles and that he cares about you and that he cares about me? Jesus is amazing.